Survivors Don't Die. Episode 1. Introduction. Written by Amber Wilkinson and Jason Wall. To read along, download the pilot script at ohheyvoid.com. Act 1. Exterior Nuvitta skyline, sunset. A futuristic city of curved buildings and rooftop gardens buzz with the sound of drones flying overhead. Emergency sirens blaring in the distance. Exterior Dark Yard Street, sunset. People are moving through the street with confusion. Many are glued to their wrist units. A man with a bionic arm is crossing the street. He is viewing a holographic alert on his palm that reads, "Seek cover immediately." Behind him is Genji Russo, 17. He has a tight hold on his sister, Yuki Russo, 11, as they move through the crowded crosswalk. Yuki's wrist unit is projecting news footage of a convenience store in flames on the palm of her hand.
I'm telling you, it was one of those drones finally crashing, not people are looting or something.
Whatever it was, we need to get off the street.
You're overreacting. If anything, we should go check it out.
An explosion erupts from one of the fancy high-rises a few blocks down.
That's not a drone.
Yuki holds up her hand to the smoke billowing into the sky. She makes a hand gesture and her wrist unit zooms in. Bodies plummet from the opening in the building.
What is that?
A scared man runs frantically past them. A series of screams echo up the street. More people start rushing by. Genji takes firm hold of Yuki's coat and pulls her as he picks up pace away from the explosion.
Genji, stop! Stop!
Come on!
Genji looks back to witness a businessman with frantic movement yanking a woman by the hair. She falls to the ground and two people join the man in feasting on her. Genji's attention turns in time to spot a bloody man reaching out for Yuki.
Help me! You have to help me!
The man is holding a large wound at the base of his neck. Without hesitation, Genji grabs the man and shoves him away.
Hey, fuck off, man!
The bloody man smacks his head on the corner of the building. His body goes limp at the edge of an alley. Genji and Yuki freeze at the sight of the man's lifeless form.
Oh shit!
Fuck. Hey, sir.
Genji kneels as more people rush by. The man's eyes are lifeless as he looks through the two teens.
I think he's dead.
They jump. The bloody man begins to convulse on the ground. Genji rolls the man on his side. Black and red veins jolt up into the man's face and eyes. Without warning, he bites down on Genji's arm. The boy yells out and begins punching frantically. After a few blows, the bloody man lets go, but changes tactics. He chomps at Genji's face. The two tussle for a brief moment, until Genji is able to free a large switchblade from his boot. The sharp blade makes contact with the bloody man's ear. His body slumps to the ground. Catching his breath, Genji stands up in a hurry. Yuki is off to the side, wide-eyed and shocked, eyes glued to the body. Genji takes Yuki's hand and pulls her back onto the street. Interior, Russo apartment, continuous. The front door of a high-end apartment swings open and Yuki enters first. Further down the hallway is Genji, struggling to keep pace.
Genji, hurry up!
The boy's free hand clutches at his arm, blood dripping with every step, despite a makeshift tourniquet. His breathing heavy as he slams the door behind them. Yuki sets up the security system. The keypad reads, "Lockdown protocol initiated." The sound of heavy locks engages inside the door. Genji's knees buckle and he slides against the wall to the ground. His breathing was haggard. Yuki quickly joins him.
What do? I don't know what to do.
Take this.
Genji forces the blade into Yuki's hand.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Okay, Yuki. Okay, just breathe.
His grasp tightens on
Breathe.
hers, keeping her from pulling away. Genji takes in deep, shaky breaths. Yuki mirrors him with calmer inhales. The siblings calm down for a brief moment.
I can't stop the bleeding. If I pass out, you take this
No,
and
you're gonna be okay. Mom and Dad will get here. You'll be okay.
But if I'm not, you hide. You protect yourself, okay?
Yuki cries as her hand trembles. The boy closes his eyes as he swallows, his skin pale.
No, wake up.
Genji opens his eyes but is visibly fading. His eyes roll in the back of his head, and something deep inside him causes his body to jerk. Yuki half-heartedly points the switchblade at her brother, her tears hysterical. Genji's shoulder shakes uncontrollably. Yuki's eyes widen as she watches veins of black and red creep up his neck. The boy's entire chest cavity convulses.
Genji, please.
Suddenly, he grabs her. He jerks her closer, the large switchblade between them. Black and red veins travel up his face and into his eyes. Genji's jaw lunges forward to bite as he forces Yuki's hand. The blade jerks upward into his throat. His grip loosens on her shirt. The girl stands up quickly, her hands covered in blood. Dropping the blade at her brother's feet, Yuki backs away. The door violently shakes. The doorknob jiggles. Yuki's entire body trembles in shock as she stares at the door, terrified. A ringing fills Yuki's ears as the door bows from the sheer force pushing its way in. Yuki can't hear anything through the high-pitched sound of shock as she stares at Genji's body. The doorframe cracks. Then it swings forcefully open. Tim, a tall, lanky 20-something, enters the room. He glances at Genji's body and without hesitation gets eye level with Yuki. Her eyes are wide and glazed over, her body trembling.
We need to get you out of here, Yuki. Are you okay? You're gonna be okay.
The ringing in Yuki's ears intensifies. Exterior outside Russo apartment window. Continuous. Through the window, we see Tim pull Yuki out the front door. The city of Nuvitta is in chaos. Smoke billows out of high-tech organic skyscrapers as police drones fly overhead. Tim and Yuki join the other survivors as they take to the streets to escape the carnage. The last remnants of sunset dip down along the city horizon line. The pink and yellow tones of the sky disappear into the darkness. End Act 1. Act 2. Exterior, antenna rooftop morning. Super. 2 years later. The Nuvitta skyline glistens against a blue sky. Elegant structures share the space with organic rooftop gardens and city foliage below. Birds fly freely between the buildings. It's a peaceful and tranquil morning. Yuki Russo, now a resourceful and determined 13-year-old, is pounding a wrench against a utility box. Yuki, muttering,
Come on, you stubborn piece of shit!
Before she can finish her swing, Tim grabs her arm and snatches the wrench from her.
Shh. Are you out of your mind?
How else am I gonna?
Tim rotates the wrench and pushes a button, activating a green laser.
Oh, right.
Grabbing the laser back, Yuki cuts the lock with quiet precision. Inside the utility box is a digital touchscreen. Tim quickly plugs his wrist unit into the available ports. Tim, yelling to Ollie.
All right, Ollie, we're in.
Ollie, a skilled and seasoned woman in her 40s, stands near a large metal crate. She pulls on an orange strap. The top of the crate flies open as a sleek metal flower mechanically rises. Its petals, made of solar panels, turns towards the sun. Small indication lights begin to blink on each stem. Tim opens his palm. His wrist unit projects a hologram against his fingertips. The words, "Connected, boosting signal," appears. Yuki.
How long will it take before anyone sees?
Not sure.
Ollie, satisfied with their work, begins to climb down a ladder.
Are we good?
Yeah, we'll have to wait it out back at base.
Good. Let's head back before morning rush.
Tim unplugs his device, and the trio head toward the roof access door.
What if it doesn't work?
Hey, don't jinx it.
As they exit, the antenna on top of the building blinks a blue light, high over the city. Exterior street to bunker. Day. A narrow one-way street is cleared of all debris. Windows and doors are boarded up. Graffiti decorates the walls. A 5-story building protected by a shipping container wall dead ends the street. The lettering on the building reads, Network Building Number 2. Exterior bunker, rooftop continuous. A tarp canopy flutters against the morning breeze. A makeshift seating area is protected by the pummeling sun. G, a muscular man in his 50s, attempts to start a small grill. He sips at the beer in his hand. Island music is playing softly.
Zola, how's it looking?
Zola, a man of average build in his 30s, is leaning over one of the crates, scanning the area through binoculars.
They should be back by now.
Maybe they stopped for more beer.
It's a little early, isn't it?
It's an easy run. They'll be fine.
Oh, shit.
Zola looks up from the binoculars towards the sky. G follows the other man's gaze. A red flare punches high toward the clouds, signaling danger.
Fuck.
G chugs the last of his beer as he moves to a ladder. Zola locks his eyes onto the sight of his crossbow. Exterior street to bunker, continuous. Yuki sprints around the corner. Ollie and Tim follow a few yards behind. Zola spots them through his scope and readies his aim at the corner of the street. The first zombie sprints into view, and with a precise shot, Zola takes it down with a headshot. As Zola reloads, 20 zombies of varying sizes are hot on their heels. The horde turns the corner. Some lose their footing and slip, causing a small pileup. Tim slips slightly, but catches himself. Ollie, determined, doesn't bother to look back. Zola takes the opportunity to strike, firing off 2 arrows, one after the other. Headshots. Ollie and Tim quickly cross over a spray-painted red line on the ground. Exterior bunker wall entrance, continuous. Yuki slides to a stop at the doors of the shipping container wall. She slams her hand onto the scanner. The door opens, and a lever drops down. Yuki yanks it, activating the defense system. Exterior street to bunker, continuous. An arsenal of arrows is released from air cannons. They are strapped to the side of the building on both sides of the street. The majority of the horde falls from headshots. 5 zombies continue their approach, undeterred by the attack. Exterior bunker wall entrance, continuous.
Come on!
Ollie and Tim make it to the entrance. Yuki shuts the doors just as the zombies get close. Their bodies collide with the metal, their fists demanding entrance. Flames blast around the zombies from the heavens, engulfing them in an inferno. Exterior bunker wall roof, continuous. G, strapped into a futuristic flamethrower, stands above the entrance, a delight of vengeance and mayhem alive in his eyes. His laughter echoes up the courtyard walls as he torches the zombies below to ash. Interior, bunker network room day. Tim enters a room lined with servers. A large window covered with newspaper glows from the morning sun. Tim drops his gear next to a hammock hanging in the corner. He sits on a stool and glides across the floor to a large futuristic console. He flips a switch and a blue light hums, warming the hologram projectors. Yuki, out of breath, runs into the room, throwing her bag on a cot with lavender blankets. She looks over Tim's shoulder, eager to know the results of their mission.
Did it work?
I believe.
Tim taps a few selections. The screen reads, "Network is live." In his best Dr. Frankenstein impression, he triumphs with,
It's alive. It's alive.
Tim types a message that reads, "Hello? Can anyone see this?" Yuki giggles and shakes Tim's shoulders in excitement.
How long before anyone sees it?
Hard to tell, but it's out there. Now, we wait.
G leans into the doorway of the server room, wiping ash off his face with a rag.
I'm telling you, we don't need nobody knowing we're here.
We've already voted on this one, G.
You lost.
I know. I just don't think you people are listening.
Go be a bad vibe somewhere else.
A speaker crackles on with Ollie's voice.
As exciting as this morning's run was, we still got chores and now a horde cleanup, people. Moving 10.
The 3 frown at the order. G saunters down the hallway. Tim and Yuki mock him in amusement. Interior indoor garden day. The garden is a wide, open office space lined with rows of plants. Hydroponic pipes of grapes, strawberries, herbs, and flowers hang from the ceiling. Raised beds filled with rich soil flourish with vegetables. Above are large solar lamps letting off ample light. Zola takes soil samples from one of the beds when the light above him flickers.
Don't die. Don't die.
The light goes out. The man lets out a groan. Stepping up on a stool, he gets high enough to give the light a firm smack with his palm. It flickers back on. Ollie enters with a water filter unit in hand as Zola climbs down from the stool.
Any spare water filters?
Lockers.
Ollie makes her way to a row of lockers on the far wall. Each door is digitally labeled with supplies and low quantity counts. A number of the digital screens have big red X's on them. They indicate there are no more. Opening the locker that reads Filters, Quantity 1, Ollie begins a search. She throws out multiple empty boxes until she finds a filter.
Last one.
We'll be okay. Someone will see it.
Well, we got 90 days to figure it out or we're fucked.
She leaves. Zoa looks around the garden. Zoa, to the plants.
Don't listen to her. We'll be fine.
Interior, indoor barn day. An office floor has been fashioned into an indoor stable. 3 dairy cows moo in greeting from a grassy section of the space. Yuki pats them on their heads as she turns on a feed bot. The mechanical worker fills a trough with pellets. Goats bleat as she scoops pellets from the trough. She tosses the feed on the ground. The sound of a forklift beeps outside. Yuki opens one of the office windows to get a better look down below. Exterior street to bunker continuous. G backs up a forklift stacked with charred zombie bodies down the street. Tim is reloading the air cannons of the security system. Tim stops his task to examine a glowing red and white mushroom. He carefully picks the mushroom and places it in his pocket, glancing around to make sure no one saw. Exterior bunker rooftop continuous. Zola and Ollie are peering down the scopes of their crossbows, keeping a close eye on Tim and G's surroundings down below.
What happened this morning?
A horde moved into our path, had to go through.
That's not good news.
Nope.
Should we think about relocating?
To where?
I don't know, but if they're creeping out this way, we need to consider our options, right?
Let's stick to one plan at a time, yeah? We try this rescue outreach, find some others, then we'll do some neighborhood cleanup once we have more manpower.
What if they don't come?
Then we'll figure it out. Always do.
A zombie wanders into Ollie's sightline, just behind G's forklift. She releases her arrow and splat! Headshot. Interior bunker network room dusk. Tim's message continues to float in the hologram display. Hello? Can anyone see this? Yuki walks past the open door with a basket of eggs in mason jars full of milk. She peeks into the room. She lets out a scoff of disappointment when she realizes no one has responded. Interior bunker kitchen, dusk. Yuki enters an industrial-style kitchen with chrome countertops, stoves, and fridges. Crates of rations are stacked in the corners. G enters, freshly showered. He reaches for his apron and begins going through Yuki's basket.
How many we get this time?
5.
That's enough to make an omelet?
Yuki hands him the 5 chicken eggs.
They need better feed. Maybe when we get more people, we can loot that feed store again.
More people doesn't always mean better, kid.
Why are you so antisocial? It's boring.
G mocks her. Yuki starts gathering plates and silverware to make the table. G prepares to make dinner.
You really don't think it'll work?
Look, 2 years in a hostile environment makes people dangerous. We don't know what kind of people survived out there.
We surmise.
No, we got lucky.
But other people can be lucky too.
Yeah, but they can also be a big problem for us if they decide they want our luck for themselves.
We'd be saving them. Wouldn't most people be happy about that?
Sure, but some folks don't know how to regulate a wind. They keep asking for more, and when they can't get any more, they can do some stupid shit.
I'm gonna believe the ones we find won't be like you.
Probably a good idea.
Interior bunker network room night. Yuki and Tim are getting ready for bed. Tim is settling into his hammock while Yuki is staring intently at the lingering message from her cot. Hello? Can anyone see this?
Hey, it's gonna work.
Yeah, it has to.
She reaches over and turns out the light between them. They settle into the glow of the hologram. Interior network room, later that night. The room is dimly lit, and the Nuvitta network console casts a faint light across the space. Tim is asleep in his hammock, his wrist unit plugged into the wall. Yuki is asleep, her blankets kicked to the floor and her arm dangling over the cot. The clock reads 4:57 a.m. The message floats alone. Hello? Can anyone see this? Suddenly, an active ellipses appears as someone types in the network chat. A message appears. Rosie 596. Hello? Yes, I can see this. Are you there? Interior network room warning. The room is bathed in soft morning light from the diffused newspaper-covered windows. Tim yawns and stretches his arms. His hammock gently sways beneath him. He rubs his face and sniffs, trying to shake off the remnants of sleep as he sits up and glances toward the console. His eyes widen when he notices the response. He bolts out of the hammock and stumbles towards his chair. His eyes scan the message. His hands shake and his fingers begin typing on the keyboard. He sends, "Here, where are you?" The active ellipses appears. Tim gleefully claps his hands.
Yes. Fucking yes.
Yuki bolts upright, still waking up.
What?
We got one!
End Act 2. Act 3. Exterior bunker courtyard morning. The courtyard between Network Building 2 and the shipping container wall is a circular driveway. The windows of the building are boarded up. Wooden crates are used as flower beds, while heavy military artillery is organized nearby. The 5-person crew is strapping on the last of their travel gear. Tim presses a button on his futuristic javelin. It retracts into a baton-shaped hilt. Yuki finishes strapping her hunting slingshot to her wrist, extending it and retracting it for good measure. Ollie tosses Zola a resin capsule that he locks into his futuristic bow quiver. He retrieves an arrow that rapidly 3D prints itself, so they never run out of ammo. G is smoking a hand-rolled cigarette in the doorway, his billhook strapped to his chest. He places his metal cigarette case into his vest pockets and joins the team.
Before we all go and get ourselves killed, I want to revote.
Come
What the
on,
fuck
we're
is
already
wrong with you?
outside.
Why do you always have to do this, man?
Don't you think we need more info before we go halfway across town for some stranger?
Gee, we're running out of supplies. We don't have enough people to do a provisions recon, and we all fucking agreed this is happening.
No, you decided it was happening. More people means more problem.
So you got a better idea, Jack?
Fuck you. Don't get so wet just because you finally got a DM in 2 years.
Ollie takes a step toward G, her fists clenched in anger. Zola jumps in her way.
All right. Let's just revote, okay? It's fine.
G and Ollie stand down. Zola takes a deep breath, trying to restore some sense of order to the situation.
All who want to stay.
G raises his hand, while all the others look at him with annoyance.
Fuck this shit. I'm staying. You assholes can go play hero without me.
Ollie pushes past Zola. Despite G's bulkier size, she grabs the older man's vest and pulls him threateningly close to her. G rolls his eyes, unfazed by her alpha leader persona.
Ain't nobody staying. If you're not coming with us, you can get the fuck out.
The two of them stare each other down for a long moment, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. G's jaw clenches as the threat sinks in. He glances to the others who are not making eye contact. He yanks his jacket from her grasp.
Just remember who called it.
He puts a cigarette back in his mouth and shoulders his pack. G mumbles an insult under his breath as he walks away. Yuki muffles her laughter. Tim shoots the younger girl a look to shut up. Zola hands Ollie her pack as she takes the lead toward the exit. Ollie is determined to see their mission through to the end. All assholes present. Exterior Old Town Street. Day. The street is lined with sustainably designed architecture. Curved lines meet natural foliage along the buildings. Deserted vehicles are covered in dust, ash, and debris. 6 zombies are spread throughout the block. Their feet shuffle on the pavement as their cataract eyes seek movement in the light. The crew is spread out along the street. Tim steps forward and opens his palms. 4 beetle-shaped robotic trackers take off into the air. They fly over the zombies ahead. 2 zombies go down from arrows to the head. Zola reloads his crossbow as the remaining 4 zombies shuffle along.
Each street's getting thicker, and we're getting pushed toward the hive.
How much farther, Tim?
Ollie releases another arrow from her bow. Another zombie down a few yards ahead. Tim's wrist unit projects against his fingers to form a holographic 3D map. 4 red human heat signatures and a gray metallic silhouette mark where the team is on the map. The trackers land and the zombies are identified as green silhouettes further ahead.
Still got to get through Old Town and up near Dog Hill. Could be another 2 hours or half a day.
G's billhook blade slices through the neck of another zombie.
I know none of you care, but that bad feeling is settling in deep the closer we get.
Stop being such a pussy. We're at least 20 blocks away.
How do you know? It's been weeks since we've been up through here.
Just keep moving, one street at a time.
The crew continues their path. Tim's tracking bug separates at the next intersection. One lands on the side of a building. The other is on a window ledge. Tim's holographic map lights up the street with 40 zombies on either side of the intersection.
Oh, shit.
What? Tim, what?
Ollie grabs his wrist and gets a look at his map.
Find us another way.
Or we head back.
I swear to God, G, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Just providing options.
Exterior Old Town alleyway day. The crew approaches an alleyway nearby, pressing themselves against the wall to hide while they wait. Tim releases 3 more tracking bugs. They flutter through the alley, cluttered with trash, calculating the risk and identifying the threats ahead.
This is a really shitty fucking idea.
Maybe we head back?
No. We get through Cambria, go around the horde, and get back on course to find our survivors.
The Hive already cleaned out Cambria. It ain't safe.
As long as we stay out of Salt Town, we should be fine.
Let's just get this over with. Please. Tight spaces are bad.
The tracker bugs land further down the long alley. 3 green zombies appear on the holographic map on Tim's palm. The tracker bug lands on an opening to the alley further down. A red alert beacon is sent to Tim's pulse unit. Tim adjusts the map for a wider view. He sees 50 zombies appear on the street parallel to them.
2 on the left, 1 on the right, a whole bunch on the other side.
Ollie steps to the front and leads with her bow loaded. The others follow. A zombie falls to the ground. 1 zombie further ahead turns around to investigate. Ollie reloads. Zola shoots his crossbow. The second zombie falls. The third, unaware of his fallen comrades, shuffles out of range further down. The crew advances through the narrow space and pauses at an opening that leads to the street littered with zombies. Tim crosses first, then Yuki, Ollie, G, and Zola. They pause against the wall. Tim makes sure they weren't spotted. The horde visible is only a few yards away, feet shuffling along the pavement, unaware of the living watching from the dark. While Tim makes his assessment, Yuki watches the remaining threat ahead. The third zombie, left at the end of the alley, sniffs the air. His jaw shivers open. He bites at a familiar smell lingering in the breeze. Yuki watches as he turns in their direction, sniffing and tasting. She aims her slingshot with a 2-inch metal ball. Tapping a button on the projectile, a band of light flickers along the smooth surface. She fires. The projectile flies through the air. 4 blades emerge from the band of light and begin to spin. The projectile makes contact with the remaining zombie, slicing its head in half. Yuki clenches her fist in celebration, but the zombie falls and lands loudly on a metal trash can. Its lid rolls down the alleyway and clatters to a halt at the crew's feet.
Fuck. Sorry.
The crew listens as the clatter echoes off the narrow walls. Silence settles for a long, withheld beat. The sound of footsteps is heard from the opening they just crossed. Tim looks back and spots the horde taking notice. A grumbling of moans bounces off the narrow space.
Run. Run!
Yuki rushes to the zombie she just killed. Picking up her ammo of choice, Ollie snatches her arm and launches her forward.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Move! Move!
I told you.
They sprint down the alleyway. The zombie horde of 50 chases after them. For every zombie that stumbles, another climbs over it. A wave of undead bodies grows larger. Their mass as one struggling to morph into a line gives our heroes a chance. The crew break out on 2. Exterior, Cambria Street number 1. Continuous. Ollie and Yuki bolt out on an open street. The buildings here are taller, sleeker, more curved and shiny. The two-way road is wide. Deserted vehicles clutter the path. Tim is lagging behind the rest of the crew. He taps his wrist unit and hits reposition. The tracker takes flight from their positions on lampposts and buildings nearby. Flying over the horde and ahead of the running crew, the distance between the two is shortening. The first tracker lands on the side of a building up ahead. A hive bee hovers past and approaches the road where the crew is running for their lives. The mechanical threat is powered by a propulsion system. Its mechanical legs dangle like a metal bee. On its side is a nameplate that reads, Sanctuary Recovery Droid. Yuki slides to a halt first. She points ahead.
Bees!
Yuki's hair and clothes are hit by a wall of wind. She stands in shock as the large floating hive bee turns the corner.
Fuck!
Ollie grabs Yuki out of the windy downwash and pulls her out of the way. The hive bee scans the street. The 4 human crew members are identified with red thermal silhouettes hiding around the corner. The zombie threat is quickly locked on by their green thermal readings. The hive bee activates its weapon systems. Tim is ducking down behind a deserted bus, unaware of the threat. He is focused on his holographic map, trying to find a path on the street ahead. The zombie horde is getting closer. Yuki jumps away from the street corner when she notices Tim's position.
Tim, get out of there!
G yanks up Yuki by the waist and returns to cover. Tim looks up just in time to see the hive bee unleashing a shower of hot white lasers. The light bullets take down a zombie as it leaps over a car toward Tim. Tim darts around the bus, narrowly avoiding the shots. The zombie horde falls to the ground, decimated by the continuous line of light bullets. The hive bee passes Tim. He gets up and joins the others, who have made it too. Exterior Cambria intersection continuous. Ollie, G, Zola, Yuki, and Tim huddle against a wall, panting for breath.
I told you. I fucking told you.
We can't go back now. We ditch the bee and keep going.
Who'd it lock onto?
They each shrug and shake their heads unsure.
Let's not wait and find out. We take separate routes to throw it off. Once we're out of the territory, it won't follow.
Ollie extends her hand, and her wrist unit projects a similar map to Tim's. She places a marker on a building that lights up and reads, Culinary Center.
We'll hunker down to Culinary Center.
But that's in Salt Town. You just said that.
It's outside their pollinating zone. We should be fine.
G shakes his head and laughs at the absurdity of their situation. Ollie and Zola take off down their own paths.
I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Hey, you gotta focus. I'm with you all the way, okay?
Yuki nods. Yuki. To G.
Maybe you were right.
I usually am.
Tim grabs Yuki's arms and leads her away. G peeks around the corner to see the hive bee mowing down the zombies trying to escape the alley. Exterior Cambria Street number 2. Continuous. Zola jogs down the side of a one-way street, crossbow at the ready. He stops to catch his breath on the stoop of an abandoned coffee shop. Checking his wrist unit, he pulls up a map similar to Tim's. All the heat readings are behind him.
Take me to the Culinary Center. Fastest route.
A path appears on the 3D map, curving through the streets to the destination. Zola takes a few more deep breaths before stepping off the stoop. He is met by the humming of a hive bee waiting for him. Zola's eyes widen as he backs away from the threat. As he turns, a tranquilizer dart shoots out from the hive bee and lands in Zola's back. He gasps for air as his legs lock up. Before he can fall, the hive bee's 4 large metal legs open up and engulf him. Exterior Cambria alleyway, continuous. Ollie runs through an alley, loading her bow as she goes. She approaches the outlet, but a hive bee blocks her exit. She retreats in the opposite direction. The hive bee is too large for the alley. It releases 2 surveillance drones that follow her. They both fire darts. Surveillance drone 2 makes contact with Ollie's neck. She attempts to reach behind her, but her legs lock up. Her eyes close, and she falls forward. Exterior Cambria Street number 3, day. Yuki and Tim are sprinting down a deserted street. They hop over a parked car. Tim spots an abandoned warehouse nearby.
This way.
They turn the corner and make their way to exterior warehouse building continuous. Tim helps Yuki climb up near a window in the side of the warehouse. Just as Yuki opens the window, Tim hears a buzzing from around the corner. He pushes Yuki forcefully into the building.
Hey, don't push!
Yuki hits the floor.
Stay there. I'll be back.
Tim runs into the middle of the street, waving his arms.
Hey! Over here! Come and get me!
The hive bee turns towards his voice. Its thermal reading not acknowledging his gray metallic signature. On his pulse unit, Tim turns on his thermal mode. The hive bee picks up on the new heat signature. A chase begins. Interior warehouse building day. Yuki recovers from her fall into a pile of boxes. Once she is able to get her footing, she surveys the warehouse. The open space is filled with toppled shelves and stacked pallets. A metal noise echoes in the dark. Yuki ducks behind a stack of boxes, trying to stay out of sight. She spots something moving in the darkness. A human figure steps into the light and moves closer. Yuki strains her eyes to focus. Zomborg 1, a zombie with bionic arms and legs, steps into the light. He sniffs the air. The fleshy, mutated jaw chomps the air between sniffs. Yuki's eyes widen as she tries to get up, but her foot slips on loose dirt. Zomborg 1 mocks into her sound. It slowly crouches down to all fours and sniffs the air again. Yuki's face fills with terror. The creature leaps towards her. Yuki gets her footing and runs. Zomborg 1 is gaining on her, its mouth foaming. Yuki escapes through the exit on 2. Exterior warehouse building, continuous. Yuki slams the door behind her. Zomborg 1 rams against it. The metal door bows and the hinges crack. Yuki backs away, trying to catch her breath. A gust of air from the hive bee's propulsion system blows her hair forward. She turns just in time to see a metal dart hit her in the neck. The metal door flies off the hinges as the Zomborg emerges. The hive bee wraps its metal arms around Yuki and accelerates upward. Zomborg 1 jumps up to bite Yuki's legs, but misses by mere inches. Exterior Cambria Street 4, continuous. Tim runs back towards the warehouse. He watches in terror as Yuki's body dangles in the hive bee's legs. The bee's metal stomach opens up and swallows the girl whole. Tim tries not to panic as the bee takes off. He dips into an alley and uses parkour to scale the wall. Exterior Cambria rooftops, continuous. Tim makes his way to the roof. He spots 3 hive bees flying off in the distance. He leaps from roof to roof, trying to keep pace. He gets to a ledge with a gap that's too wide. He grabs his futuristic baton from his hip and presses a button. A shiny metal javelin extends. Tim backs up and runs towards the edge. He slams the tip of his javelin into the ground and uses it to pole vault his body through the air. G can be seen on the street below, looking up in disbelief.
The fuck?
Tim crashes through the window of interior abandoned office building, continuous. Glass shatters as Tim falls to the ground, sliding across the office floor. Sitting up, he groans. Zomborg 2, an elderly female with a bionic arm, sniffs the air to Tim's left. Her jaw chomps down at nothing. Tim stands up, quickly scanning the area for his javelin. Zomborg 3, a male with metal ears and gouged-out eyes, is creeping closer to Tim, sniffing and chomping. Tim backs away, edging closer to the open window ledge. He spots his javelin between the 2 Zomborgs. Zomborg 2 lunges towards him. He dodges the attack and picks up a file sorter, throwing it at the threat. Zomborg 3 hones in on the sound and approaches with precision. Tim gets blocked in and throws whatever he can at the approaching modified zombies.
Janice, did you get the memo about not fighting in the office?
Zomborg 2 goes limp as a javelin punctures through her temple. Tim looks over to see G smiling.
Nice jump, idiot.
Blind Zomborg 3 turns towards G's voice, chomping at the air. G splits the creature's head in half with a single blow of his billhook. Blood splatters mostly on G and a little on Tim's shirt.
Jesus, G, really?
What? I saved you.
Come on, the bee's got Yuki.
Shit.
Tim claims his javelin from the skull of Zomborg 2 and moves through the door. G follows after him. Exterior roof of abandoned office building, continuous. Tim charges out of the roof access door, looking up at the sky. His javelin at the ready, he rushes to the edge of the building. G exits the access door, catching his breath. A dart lands in G's neck. He goes limp. A hive bee scoops G up into its metal legs. The bee's stomach opens up with a rush of cold air. G's body is engulfed into its belly. Clink! Tim throws his javelin at the hive bee, but it bounces off as the machine gains altitude.
No. What is happening? What is happening?
Tim follows the hive bee to the other side of the roof. He spots all 4 hive bees heading toward a large gray wall towering over small buildings in the distance. Super. The hive. Tim is alone and unable to follow. End Act 3. Act 4. Interior Sanctuary Welcome Rooms. Morning. Yuki gasps as she sits up, panting and disoriented. The events of her capture catch up to her in that waking moment. She glances around, realizing she is the first to wake in a large circular room. Her other teammates are unconscious, but their presence calms her. She inspects her new wardrobe. The gray athleisure wear is soft and comfortable. A digital armband is strapped to her left arm. The flexible screen of the band emits a white number 1 on a red background. Without warning, Ollie stands up from her cot, ready for a fight. The older woman looks around at the others and makes eye contact with Yuki.
You okay, kid?
Yeah.
Zola's hands flail violently around as he wakes, trying to defend himself from invisible assailants. His breathing is frantic before he notices the 2 females nearby.
Where are we?
Don't know.
G begins to snore from his cot, unaware of his comrades' rude awakenings. Broom. The holograph orb in the center of the room hums and begins to glow. The surrounding lights of the space dim to give a sense of importance to the presentation starting up. Ollie moves to stand next to Yuki as a mother would her young. Zola attempts to shake G awake, but he shrugs his shoulders to be left alone. Zola tilts the cot to its side, and the large man hits the floor hard.
I'm up.
The crew surrounds the hologram orb as it begins to play. Exterior, the Sanctuary Propaganda Hologram, day. A futuristic town square fades into view. The buildings are curved and organic in shape. The street is empty, clean, and well-maintained. Storefronts display their services and workmanship in large windows. There's a shine to the little town that seems manufactured and perfect. Amala von Brandt, the Nuvitta Corporation CEO, 60s, stands in the middle of the road.
Hello. My name is Amala von Brandt, and on behalf of the Nuvitta Corporation, I'd like to welcome you to the Sanctuary District.
Super. Welcome to Sanctuary. The hologram transitions to the scene of a meteor falling over the Nuvitta skyline at sunset. Security footage shows the meteor crashing into a convenience store. The large rock expels a cloud of spores into the air. A survivor, fatally injured from the crash, is laying on the ground. They begin coughing and thrashing. A second survivor approaches to help, only to be viciously attacked by the first.
The last 2 years have been terrible. With the rise in the fungal infection X80, our once immaculate city of Nuvitta has fallen to barbaric deaths and extreme violence.
The hologram transitions to security footage on an exterior street. A woman is fighting off a zombie in the park. A second transition reveals a group of survivors taking to the streets with weapons. They are fighting back against the violent infected, only to be turned themselves.
We know you've done what was necessary to survive, and we commend our citizens on your ability to adapt in the face of adversity.
The hologram morphs to a scene of Amala sitting on a bench next to a park.
But now is the time to get back to how things were, to rebuild and reconnect with our once flourishing community.
2 teens run past Amala's bench, kicking a soccer ball.
To let kids be kids, and to join together with other survivors to rebuild what was once our home.
The hologram dissolves to show a bird's eye view of Sanctuary. The residential homes are similar in design and built close together.
In Sanctuary, we've returned to our system of guaranteed, state-of-the-art housing.
Without transition, the hologram flies into one of the streets where 2 guards are casually on patrol.
We've implemented a security program of neighbors and friends.
3 teams are playing a futuristic version of soccer in one of the yards. A pregnant mother calls out the door to one of the teenagers to come in. The young teen rushes in to find his father and brother preparing to sit down for a meal.
Making it a safe place to raise children and start thinking about the future.
The hologram fades into pixels and respawns a delivery truck pulling up to a grocery store. The store manager scans the delivery of fresh fruits. Shoppers pick out fresh fruits and vegetables.
The Nuvitta Corporation has been able to bring back meaningful work, guaranteed access to water, and healthy foods. All are made available to the community by the community.
The hologram morphs to a teen girl in an education pod. She is engaged in a hologram lesson that portrays whales swimming around her with names and stats tracked to each creature.
Most importantly, we have built a state-of-the-art education facility to continue our children's growth. Without our children, there is no future. So guaranteeing they have the best is a top priority for everyone here in Nuvitta.
The hologram dissolves back to Amala standing in the town square, surrounded by other residents.
The road ahead is a long one, but we have a wonderful foundation for recovery. We're all in this together, and we are all very excited to have you.
The residents wave and smile. Super. Welcome home. Interior sanctuary welcome rooms, continuous. The holographic orb projects a spinning welcome home in 3D text. The crew of 4 glances at one another with expressions of confusion.
So we're dead.
Captives at most.
Are we in wait-and-see mode, or are we trying to...
Where's Tim?
It's at that moment the crew realizes they are missing one. Exterior alley near the hive, day. The wall, known to the crew as the Hive, towers over the city at 25 stories tall. Large vents produce a cloud of ominous steam that billows into the air. A wired fence surrounds a desolate parking lot that looks like a giant moat of blacktop around the structure. Tim is across the street from the wired fence. He is hiding behind a vehicle as he evaluates the structure before him. A large ventilation grate a few yards from the main entrance is spotted. It's not producing any steam or smoke. Whoosh! A hive bee on patrol turns the corner a few blocks down. Tim backs cautiously into a narrow alley and ducks behind a large dumpster to stay out of view. The hive bee uses its scanning system on vehicles and storefront windows. It gets closer to Tim's hiding spot. Frantic, he taps at his wrist unit, flipping through menus to turn off his thermal mode. A red line scans the dumpster as Tim presses his body against the wall and attempts to remain as still as possible. When the hive bee detects nothing, it continues down the street, turning to the next block, out of sight. Tim watches it go, then turns his attention back to the fortress he knows he'll have to infiltrate. Interior, Amala von Brandt's office, day. The office of Amala von Brandt is well decorated with modern art, large windows, and curved furniture. The CEO is dressed in a white lab coat in front of a large hologram table at the center of the room. She is examining what looks to be digitized 3D brain scans fused with wires and metals. Adam Porter, 60s, is with Amala keeping notes on a tablet. Neither of them wears an armband.
Life expectancy was how long?
76 hours.
The mechanic circular doors open. Amala casually turns off the hologram. Moira Cunningham, 30s, enters dressed in a gray-fitted shirt and pants. A digital armband emits a faint purple light and a white number 6. She places a stack of folders on the desk.
I have the reports. The girl is definitely going to be of interest.
The 4 folders have names and an old photograph of each crew member. Amala takes up Yuki's folder. Adam takes up Ollie's.
They've watched the introductory sequence. Should I continue them through step 1?
Amala points at something in the folder, and Adam makes an impressed face.
Yes, dear. Let's make them feel as comfortable as possible. They may be a little more apprehensive than the others considering how long they've been out in the wild.
Moira nods and leaves.
13's young.
13's a perfectly good age.
Interior, sanctuary welcome rooms, sunset. The crew stand around Yuki's cot, huddled together for privacy and comfort.
What we thinking?
It's definitely high-quality propaganda.
I don't like it.
But say this is real. Maybe we were wrong about what's been going on here.
Why didn't they blast the info over a loudspeaker or something?
Or fix the network with these resources.
Misunderstandings happen in a war zone.
The door of the room slides open and the crew stands up.
Whatever happens, we stick together.
Moira enters with a digital tablet in hand.
Hey, ain't seen no chick in a while.
Ollie and Yuki smack him in both arms. He flinches.
Hello, welcome to the Sanctuary District. I'm Moira, and I'm here to help you with any questions you might have.
Yeah, where are we?
Didn't you watch the video?
It didn't explain where or why exactly.
Oh, well, you were rescued from the extract zone, and
More
we brought
like
you here.
kidnapped.
I know this might all seem very different than what you're used to, but I'd love to show you around.
Well, let's do it.
Why should we follow you?
Again, I'm Moira. I'm here to get you settled in, so if you'll follow me, we'll get started on the first phase of your integration.
Without waiting, Moira walks down the hallway speaking. Interior, Sanctuary Welcome Center hallway, continuous. The marble floors of the hallway and the retro green wallpaper are lit with modern sconces. Moira is talking as the crew pick up pace to join her.
The Sanctuary District is the Nuvitta Corporation's solution to the X80 pandemic. Over the last 2 years, we've been able to establish an impenetrable barrier with our state-of-the-art wall. We've been sending recovery drones to collect survivors over the last 23 months.
Why didn't you let people know?
We did. We brought them here.
What about the people you left behind?
The Nuvitta network went down some hours after the outbreak began. It was impossible to contact outside of the Sanctuary District.
Wait, so this is the Hive? So you're a
what?
A Zomborg? He's asking me if you're a Zomborg.
I'm sorry?
A modified upgrader who's been bitten.
Oh, no. Most of us started out just like you. We were all picked up by the Nuvitta security drones and brought to safety.
They pass by a series of large windows overlooking the sanctuary grounds. One by one, the crew members slow down, taking in their new civilized surroundings. The neighborhood is free of zombies. Electric vehicles move down one-way streets. People buzz about their everyday tasks. No one is dressed in survival gear or equipped with weapons.
Why not put the effort into cleaning up the city?
Well, the Nuvitta Corporation determined that it would be easier to recover a smaller district first. But now that the network was rebooted, we can start turning our efforts outward.
G to Yuki.
Told you we'd attract something.
Wait, you fixed it?
Yeah, we were looking for survivors.
That's wonderful. We're all hoping that we'll be able to use the network to track down others who are still out there.
What about our friend Tim? Where's he?
Moira glances at her tablet for a moment.
I only have records of 4.
We're definitely 5.
I'll have them run another search for your 5th.
Search? He's still out there?
What's his name?
Tim Russo.
He's probably fine, kid. Tim's resourceful.
We have to get him.
Moira pauses a moment as she looks at her screen. Ollie is the only one who notices the other woman's masked confusion. They watch as Moira tap at a few buttons and then looks up with a smile.
I have a team out now. How about we get you to your new home while we wait?
We're housed together, right?
Of course. Follow me.
Moira moves onward. The crew exchange glances before following. Yuki to Ollie.
What if they don't find him?
Then we'll do it ourselves. Promise.
Exterior, street surrounding Hive, sunset. Tim crouches behind a parked vehicle near the fenced parking lot. He watches as 2 surveillance drones glide past. When it's clear, he moves to another car. The car alarm goes off. Tim jumps and runs to hide around the corner of the nearest building. The drones turn around to investigate the sound. The alarm attracts a Hive bee, who joins the 2 drones. They begin scanning the road nearby. Tim takes another glance at the ventilation grate. Surveillance Drone 2 harpoons a cord into the vehicle and sends an electrical shock to disable it. Silence. A rumbling sound draws Tim's attention behind him. A horde of 150 zombies rush down the road, attracted by the car alarm. They look like a wave of bodies toppling over abandoned cars and funneling down the street. Tim runs. The horde joins him a few feet behind. He is leading the horde. Exterior. The Hive entrance, continuous. Tim scales the fence quickly and sprints towards the wall. Seconds later, the horde bursts through the metal fence. They move like a mass of bodies towards the towering wall. The Hive bee and its surveillance drones open fire on the wave of zombies from behind. A flurry of white-hot bullets rain down from the sky. Tim slides to a halt as the wall's defenses are activated. Zombies rush past him. He's now mixed in with the approaching mass of undead. A militarized hive bee is released from the 10th story drone bay, shooting down the zombies in front of our gangly hero. Tim tries to run in the other direction, but realizes he is caught in the crossfire. Light bullets violently zip down from both sides, hitting his chest, back, legs, and arms. He falls to the ground. Zombies climb over him to get through. As they are annihilated by the bullets, bodies pile on top of Tim Russo. End Act 4. Act 5. Exterior Sanctuary Intake Tunnel, Magic Hour. An autonomous hovercraft buzzes down a solar roadway tunnel, lights flickering against the smooth surface. In the vehicle, our 4 crew members and Moira are seated facing one another.
How many survivors are here?
Moira.
Our current population is 27,174. We anticipate natural growth over the next year.
How many more survivors do you think are even out there?
Oh, we're not sure. You're the biggest group we've picked up in months, but our birthing program has increased since spring.
Babies?
Yes, we have about 24 pregnant women within Sanctuary. All are being protected and taken care of.
That's incredible.
The hovercraft emerges from the tunnel. A series of 4-story shops and apartments rush past. Everything is clean, new, and zombie-free. The crew leans into the window to get a better look as the last bit of sunset disappears. Streetlights begin to flicker on. Each person has an armband of different colors and numbers.
What are the bands for?
You'll find out at your educational orientation in a day or two. It'll explain everything.
Why can't you explain it now?
That's not how this works.
Maybe it should be.
I promise the armbands will be explained. But right now, what's important is getting you into your new housing, making you feel safe.
Yeah, right.
Hey, they got a bar.
G points out the window excitedly.
Yes, it's limited in their selection, but it's a good place to meet people.
Exterior residential district dusk. Wong! A community chime echoes over the residential district, signaling the end of day. The vehicle transporting the crew moves down a one-way residential street. The buildings are quaint, 3D-printed homes. Solar-powered streetlights glow as pedestrians make their way home. Interior, crew's sanctuary home, dusk. Moira enters a curved doorway, followed by the crew. The automatic lights turn on and reveal a smooth white interior of an open floor plan. The furniture is modern with pops of color.
Welcome to your new home. You'll find 2 bedrooms and a fully stocked kitchen.
G goes directly to the fridge. It's stuffed with fruits, veggies, and a selection of beverages. He locates a beer and chugs it. Zola examines the bedroom to the left while Ollie checks out the bedroom on the right. Yuki remains in the living room with Moira.
What's the catch?
What do you mean?
Why are you housing us?
You are probably too young to remember, but every basic need is provided by the Nuvitta Corporation. Food, water, shelter.
What do we have to do for you?
It's not for me. It's for the community. We're all in this together, right?
I assume we're given jobs in exchange, like before?
Yes, exactly. We've done a citizen scan and have assigned jobs based on your previous posts.
She reaches into her pocket and hands out 4 metal cards.
If you would prefer a fresh start in a different position, do let us know. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yuki reads her card with silver engraving. Nuvitta Sanctuary Educational Facility, 8 a.m., Monday through Thursday.
School? Seriously?
Education is one of the largest pillars in Nuvitta. It'll be good for you.
Yuki rolls her eyes. Interior, Sanctuary Observation Deck, night. A surveillance feed shows Moira leaving the crew of 4 in their new home. The screen is on a wall that includes hundreds of other video feeds. Sanctuary homes, streets, and the surrounding city of the protective wall are being watched. Interior, Security Patrol Office, day. Ollie and G are escorted by Officer Milligan, a 50-something woman wearing a dark red uniform. Her armband emits a white light with the blue number 7 on it. The hallway is white marble, immaculately clean, with a line down the middle to direct traffic. G and Ollie notice other security patrol officers staring as they pass.
According to your files, this ain't your first post.
13 years on droid patrol.
I was the executive security for 4 years.
Well, here in Sanctuary, we ain't got droids or executives, so you'll both be patrol officers.
Why is that? No droids.
Milligan stops at the end of the hall in front of a futuristic automat of windows. She taps a few numbers on a screen, and the window emits light.
Most droids are fungus-powered. Better safe than sorry, right?
But X-80 is airborne. We're all infected.
Milligan retrieves 2 uniform bags from the window and hands them to Ollie and G.
You're not going to be one of those, are you?
What?
Someone who thinks they know better than us.
I was just... No, sorry.
Great. What about you?
I don't know much about anything, so carry on.
She hands each of them an electro baton.
Your electro batons have to be checked in and out at every shift. Don't take it home with you. Don't forget to charge it either.
Ollie takes the baton and looks awkwardly at G, who makes a face. Milligan continues down the hall.
Suit up. Your first assignment is perimeter cleanup.
Exterior wall, outer perimeter, day. The smooth cement wall towers high, casting a long shadow over its surroundings. The grinding sound of the large gate echoes across the vast parking lot. 2 large military vehicles exit and separate on either side of the gate. Gatling guns, self-manned, shoot down the zombies rushing toward the perimeter. 2 military drones assist in shutting down the undead advance. The last shot echoes through the empty streets beyond, and silence falls for a long beat. The doors of the military vehicles unlock and open. 6 patrol officers exit from the back. Each is wearing a red uniform. Ollie and G begin dragging zombie bodies off the blacktop.
They got bots for shooting them, but no bots for cleaning them up.
For such a high-end facility, it's definitely lacking, isn't it?
Just more proof. No one knows what the fuck they're doing.
Ollie bends down to move a zombie, revealing Tim's lifeless body underneath.
Holy shit. G!
She drops to her knees and shakes Tim slightly. G rushes over and shakes him harder. Tim's entire chest and back are riddled with holes, and one of his eyes is missing. A blue and white substance drips from his wounds. His good eye stares up at the sky, lifeless. Fade to black.